Beautifully Broken is a movie I highly recommend, not just because of the historical backdrop of the Rwanda war and genocide, but because of the profound spiritual lessons woven into the story. In this episode, we focus on the story of William and his family, how they escaped the horrors of the war. A friend from the coffee compound called him and urgently warned that if he could make it there, and he's talking about the coffee compound, he and his family would be safe. The compound, being affiliated with the government, was under military protection. William, a respected coffee official in Rwanda, became a target shortly after the president's plane crash, which unleashed chaos across the country. As militias moved from houses to houses killing people, William knew his life was in danger. Amy suddenly recalled her 15th birthday. Even though she had not reached that age yet, without hesitation, she rushed to grab the dress she had set aside for that occasion. However, on the way, they were stopped at a roadblock. The militia forced them out of the car, making them lie face down on the ground. William's wife and daughter were also dragged out. The soldiers were ready to execute the whole family. But just then, by divine intervention, a nearby explosion knocked some of them out while the rest of the militia fled the scene, giving William and his family the opportunity to escape for their lives. Having narrowly escaped death, William and his family now faced a grueling journey to the coffee compound on foot. As they walked, Amy began to cry. It wasn't the horror of what they had just endured that overwhelmed her, but the loss of something far more personal. She was mourning the dress she had been saving for her 15th birthday, now left behind. William comforted her and promised to get her a better one. If William had arrived at the coffee compound earlier, he and his family would have been among those killed by the militia. In a way, the roadblock they encountered may have been a divine intervention, delaying them and ultimately saving their lives from the massacre at the compound. With the coffee compound no longer a safe option, William decided to head to Murambi, his mother's hometown, hoping to find refuge there. However, upon arriving Murambi, he did not find his mother but instead encountered Umuhuza's father. For the third time, William and his family's lives were spared, this time partly due to Umuhuza's father, who upon seeing William's little girl crying was reminded of his own daughter back home. Despite this moment of mercy, other militia members spotted William and opened fire. Miraculously, he managed to escape, marking yet another narrow survival for him and his family. Many years passed at the refugee camp. Even Amy's 15th birthday came and went without celebration, an occasion that held deep cultural significance as a passage into womanhood. For William and his family, life felt stagnant, with little hope for change. During this time, William grew increasingly worried about their future. One day, he had an unexpected reunion with a good friend who had come to the refugee camp, obviously as a volunteer. Their joy at seeing each other again was immeasurable. As they reconnected, the friend shared an opportunity with William, possibility of seeking asylum in the United States. At first, William was hesitant. The thought of leaving his family behind in Rwanda was agonizing for him. But after much prayer and seeking of God's guidance, his wife's word seemed to carry a divine message, confirmation, giving him the courage to take the difficult step. He made a heartfelt promise with his family to write them regularly, and once he had settled, he would try to bring them to the US. Upon arriving in America, William met Randy and the church pastor. However, at this time, the church was struggling with serious financial difficulty. Also, Randy himself as well had challenges of his own. As his daughter turns into a typical teenager, despite all their challenges, they were willing to welcome William with open arms, offering him support and a chance to rebuild his life as a refugee seeking asylum. William's first challenge upon arriving in the US was the difficulty of reuniting with his family. The office refused to approve the necessary documents his wife and daughter need to join him, stating that he needed to secure a stable job first. This left William in a state of uncertainty, longing to bring his family together. Meanwhile, the Hartley family faced their own struggles. Their daughter Andrea was becoming increasingly rebellious. At first, she isolated herself in her room and was rude to her parents, Darla and Randy. Over time, her behavior worsened. She began associating with the wrong crowd, including a boy involved in drug dealing. Despite their efforts, Darla and Randy felt helpless as Andrea drifted deeper into a destructive lifestyle. Although Randy wanted to help William, his own burden grew heavier, making it difficult for him to extend a helping hand. However, divine intervention soon played a role in their life. One day, William had an idea to rent an apartment and establish a foundation to help refugees from war-stricken African nations. The church embraced William's idea and helped him purchase the apartment, turning it into a foundation that provides refuge and assistance to displaced Africans. This initiative not only gave William a sense of purpose, but also helped him to meet the Rwandan office requirement for a stable job before allowing his wife and daughter to join him. His wife and daughter were finally able to join him in the US. Upon their arrival, they also become involved in the foundation's activities, and life began to take a positive turn. On a special day, William celebrated his daughter Amy's 15th birthday, a promise he had made long ago. The moment was filled with joy, signifying the restoration of his family. As for Andrea, she continued down a dangerous path. Eventually run away from home, a reckless choice led her into trouble when she got involved with the wrong boy. The police arrested both of them, and despite Andrea's claim of innocence, no one believed her in court. However, through divine providence, William was able to get the boy to confess, proving Andrea's innocence. This moment became a turning point in our life. As a result, Andrea began working in the foundation. Her experience there transformed her, instilling a sense of purpose and compassion in her heart. She found healing through serving others, particularly refugee children. Before this transformation, Andrea had stopped responding to the letter of Umuhoza, a Rwandan girl who had been faithfully writing to her. However, Andrea eventually confided in Umuhoza about her struggle, revealing painful truths she had never shared with her parents. What happened to her that made a sweet girl like her suddenly become wayward? When Dala and Randy discovered this letter, they were both shocked and saddened that their daughter had found it easier to open up to someone so far away rather than to them. Randy, seeing the profound impact that both Umuhoza's letter and William's foundation had on his daughter, came up with an idea. He would take Andrea and William to Rwanda to meet Umuhoza. What they did not realize was that Umuhoza herself had been facing deep struggles. Her father had been arrested for involvement in the Rwandan civil war, yet she remained steadfast in her faith. Despite her brokenness, she became a source of inspiration and blessing to others. Andrea, now transformed by her experience, decided to express her gratitude and appreciation by buying a dress as a gift for Moza on her 15th birthday. It was a gesture of love and friendship, symbolizing the powerful connection formed through shared struggle and unwavering faith. But as for William, he went in search for his mother. He approached her closest friend, hoping she might know her whereabouts. What he uncovered was heartbreaking. This woman, though once trusted, confessed that it was her own son, the leader of the militia group, who had taken his mother's life. She recounted the tragic event with tears. When the war erupted, she had gone to retrieve William's mother from hiding, believing she would be safer under her care. But fate took a cruel turn. Her son, unaware or indifferent to who she was, murdered her. At that moment, William, still human, still feeling the weight of grief, was tempted to seek revenge. Yet, having endured so much, and the grace of God resting heavily upon him, he found the strength to forgive. That act of forgiveness became a turning point. In a quiet, powerful way, God used William as a vessel of healing and hope to many. He carried within him the light of Christ, shining brightly in a broken world. The pain he went through shaped him, not by destroying him, but by refining his heart. Why? Because he had the right attitude towards suffering. And what is the right attitude in the midst of pain? It is to hold firmly to faith, through prayer, through studying the word, and through steadfast trust in God.